So you've been selling Pokemon cards for a little bit now. Maybe you're selling other card games, or maybe you haven't started at all, whether it's Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Flesh and Blood. The list goes on and on and on. You're selling or you're not selling, and you're wondering what are some of the biggest mistakes that a new seller or an experienced seller could be making when they are running a Pokemon card business. Well, luckily you're in the right place. My name is Will, and welcome back to the Lab TCG. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 mistakes you can make as a Pokemon card seller, whether you're new or experienced. I want to go ahead and jump straight into this. So, number one, the first mistake is not starting. If you are new to this business and you've watched all these videos, you've studied my channel, you've studied other channels, and you're kind of wondering what's the first step you can take, starting the business is the best you can take. Although this video is about the mistakes you can make while you're starting your business, it is okay to make mistakes. In fact, you actually learn more from the mistakes that you make compared to just not starting at all. So if you're scared of losing money because of shipping, or you're scared of customer returns, trust me, if this is something that you're interested in doing for the long term, making those mistakes early, failing fast, and learning from them is going to help you a lot more than sitting there with analysis paralysis and not getting into it. If I had never started, this business never would have gotten to where it was. In fact, I actually started this business with this box right here. As you can see, the Lab TCG, there were $500 worth of cards in this box, just a little BCW box. I bought a collection online, started out of that box, and it has grown to everything that you see behind me. So number one is get started. Number two is going to be buying supplies and cards for too much money. Now, on this channel, we talk a lot about buy this collection for 60%, buy this for 70%, buy your bulk at this rate, buy your shipping supplies at the lowest rate. But if you don't pay attention to that information and you just jump straight in, you go, oh, I can just buy 10 bubble mailers on Amazon for $10, that could be a little deceiving because you think, oh, just buy the shipping supplies and then go from there. But actually, if your cost on an envelope's $1, and we do some math here, you could be overpaying a lot for shipping supplies. For example, there are envelopes out there. You could go right now and get envelopes for 50 cents an envelope, $1 an envelope, 25 cents an envelope. But what if I told you could get envelopes for 5 cents, 4 cents? And depending on how many envelopes you're actually buying, you could get way more. And I'm not talking about discounted stamps here. That's a different topic for a different day. But when it comes to your shipping materials, you can get the cost on these way, 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 way lower. Now, when you're just starting out, it's okay not to buy 5,000 envelopes for 4 cents each because we all have to start somewhere. But if you're starting out, you probably shouldn't try and sell cards that are a quarter with an envelope that costed you 50 cents on an order that's going to give you $1. You see the problem here. When you increase your shipping supplies in price, you're going to lower the amount that you're going to make over time. In addition to that, if you go out and you say, great, I'm going to start a Pokemon business and I'm going to spend $20 on a card that's worth $20, you can't really make money there. So this is why it's really important we buy cards here at 60%. For the most part, I buy cards at 50% sometimes, but you want to make sure that you are creating the math that goes behind, okay, if I sell a card for this much and it's costing me 20% in fees, how much can I actually make? We'll go ahead and jump into that in a little bit. But number two mistake, don't overpay. We interrupt this video to let you know that memberships are now available at the Lab TCG. Go to the subscribe box, hit the join button, and for $2.99 a month, you get a bunch of access to new content and Discord roles. Without further ado, keep enjoying the video. Number three, actually, is exactly what we're going to talk about. Not creating models. So in a video I talked about how to start selling in 2023, I actually talked about the importance of using Excel. Now, what I mean by not having models is, in my opinion, you should have Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets or at least like paper chicken scratch of how much does your envelope cost? How much do your stamps cost? How much do your top loaders cost? Every single thing that you have in your business, there should be a cost in an Excel spreadsheet. And when you are going to see, okay, I just bought this card for $10, how much can I sell for it? When I factor in all the costs that it takes me to run this business, you should be able to get an output at the end of your model. So you put your $10, you minus all your costs, and then whatever your cost of acquisition for the card is, you can start to see the profit that you would be making from that sale. So this is what I mean by not building models. Once you actually know what your costs are, you should start to see what your thresholds are for making profit, and doing that in Excel is an excellent way to do it. So yeah, make sure that you are doing something like that, keeping track of costs and seeing how much it costs you to ship things, because if you don't know how much money you're making, there's probably going to be a problem in the future. Now, number four, buying rip and ship, buying MSRP, buying from just stores. If you are buying product and then opening the product for singles to sell, That's probably one of the worst ways you can do this business. Now, if that's the only way you can do it, that's completely fine. But if you want to do this long term and actually start to make money doing this business without the risk part of drawing cards out of packs, you're not going to want to buy sealed product for your business. Now, there are ways to do this. If you're opening thousands and thousands of booster box and you own a brick and mortar and you have a local player base that is going to be able to buy the singles that you're opening for more than they're selling for on TCG Player, by all means, open the sealed product. But I started opening sealed product years ago. I did it when Sun and Moon was coming out, and it was about break even after spending a couple thousand on those boxes. After you sell it online, after you acquire all those fees, it's about break even. And really, it's a huge time expense. And then you have to go and inventory all those cards and all that stuff. It's better if you just It's better if you just sell the sealed product, or if you just sell the singles that you're buying secondhand. So I would highly recommend that you don't overpay rip and chippers. Do not pay $7 a pack if you're looking to do this for a business. If you're looking to do it for fun, that's totally fine. But be very cognizant of that. Make sure that you know how much it's costing you for something. And if you don't pull a hit, you're just in the hole even further. So, number 5, not watching more of the Lab TCG. If this is your first time watching this channel, subscribe. We have all sorts of resources on here. There's the supplies list in the description below that will tell you different places to get different supplies. We have a free trial to Shopify, and I have tons and tons of videos on this topic specifically. So if this is the type of content you're interested in, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit subscribe. On a more serious note, though, there are tons of YouTube channels that cover this exact topic. If you don't like me, there's Danny Phantom. There's Old School Pokemon. There's Pokenomics. There are so many channels that cover selling cards or investing in cards and all that stuff. When you watch YouTube videos, you're investing in yourself and learning more about the business. I cannot recommend it enough that you watch more YouTube. I actually learned how to do most of this from YouTube and a few people I know personally, but where did they learn from? Also YouTube. So do yourself a favor and watch some more YouTube. Set aside some free time to watch some more videos. I'm sure it's going to help a lot. Number 6 is going to be letting your inventory get out of hand. Now, if you see behind me over here, there's nice little white boxes with rows and all of this stuff. A couple months ago, my inventory wasn't like this. It started as this. I started from that little box I showed you earlier. But over time, as my inventory grew, I got lazy and it's like, oh, I just bought cards. I'm just going to let them sit there. And then one day becomes a week becomes a month becomes 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and then you're moving back here from Seattle and you're like, oh my God, my inventory is a mess. Make sure that you stick to a rigorous inventory system as soon as you start your business, whether that's alphabetically sorting your stuff, set order, number order. For me, I use alphabetical and by set for TCG Player Direct, but make sure that you choose an inventory system and you stick to it over time, because if you let it get out of hand, it's going to become a nightmare where you're fulfilling orders for cards you don't have. It's a mess. Trust me, sort your inventory and stick to the sorting system. Number 7, not trying other platforms. If you start this business and you strictly sell on TCG Player, that's great. TCG Player is an excellent platform. If you start this business and you strictly sell on eBay, that's great. eBay is also a great platform. But there are other platforms out there. You can actually maximize more value by doing TCG Player and eBay at the same time, depending on what cards you're selling where. You can get more value than just going solely focused on one place. Now, I do think there's a lot of benefit to actually picking one platform and just sticking to that platform, becoming an expert at that platform. But I would highly recommend you actually try other platforms before you just tunnel vision into one platform, because there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of different ways to sell cards. So that would be my number 7, is try other platforms. The mistake you would be making is not trying them. Number 8, not using goods and services. If you want to get scammed in this business, PayPal, friends and family is the way to go. Even if you think you trust someone, using goods and services could help you big time. I have used goods and services and filed complaints on customers and buyers and sellers of all different shapes. Like, it's insane how much goods and services can protect you. Yes, you do have to pay a fee, but it's being scammed is a worse feeling than paying 2.9% plus 30 to PayPal. Trust me, even if you're buying locally, use PayPal goods and services. If you're buying locally, there's other options. You can use cash, but if you're buying online, goods and services will save you. It has saved me many times. Even when I had reference checks on people, when people vetted for them, they said this person is a great person to sell to buy from. Even then, I've still been scammed with those situations. So if you don't want to lose a couple $100, save yourself the time and use PayPal goods and services, or whatever selling platform you're using. Make sure that you have some sort of protection or insurance. So that is number 8. Number 9, not utilizing the local area, or if you do utilize the local area, not utilizing online. I believe that if you're in this business, you should be doing it for both the local area and the online. There's a lot of opportunity in both areas. If you're buying things locally, you can pay less. Generally speaking, you can pay in cash, which avoids fees like goods and services. You can buy more. If you're buying bulk and there's no card stores around you, who else is buying commons and uncommons for, guess what? Your price, whether that's 1 cent, 3 cent, you determine the price because you're the only person that can buy it. If you're buying online, my advice here is this expands your network. You get to meet way more people. If you go into a Facebook group or you come into our Discord and you find people that are willing to sell products, or you go into other Discords and, it's okay to do commerce, you can meet a whole lot of people that can share experiences with you, that can sell you cards, that can buy cards from you. If you are, in a specific niche, like you like graded cards or you like singles, there are tons of people that you can go out and meet. And in fact, just by me posting YouTube videos, I've done about 5 in-person transactions with people that live in the state that I live in that I didn't even knew lived here until I posted on YouTube. So you don't have to post on YouTube per se. I would recommend it, but you don't have to post on YouTube. But just by putting yourself out there, joining local yard sale groups or anything like that, get yourself out there. If you want to do this and make, decent amounts and keep sourcing once you've actually set up your structure, shifting into channels on in-person and online is a great way to do it. So yeah, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to meet people. And if you are meeting locally, be very careful. Do not get hurt, please. That's another mistake you can make, is not being protected in person. So that's number 8. Then number 11. This one kind of goes into number 5, but number 11 is going to be not studying. If you come into the business and you don't necessarily know what's right, what's wrong, and you just kind of start going out there and doing the business, that's great. It's really excellent that you took step 1. However, you need to try and mitigate some of the mistakes you can make. Just by watching this video, you've actually made a commitment to making less mistakes than you probably would have started from. My videos, other people's videos, other people in the community, other people in the comments are all great resources to learn how to not mistakes. In fact, there's people that come to this channel that join our Discord server and ask how to not make mistakes. And that is an excellent way to avoid financial loss when doing this business. There's a lot, trust me, there are so many ways you can make mistakes in this business that this video won't cover everything. But by joining the Discord and talking to people or talking to me, you can email me and ask me any questions. There are so many people that have reached out regarding mistakes and what they can do better to how to optimize their business. Trust me, not studying is going to hurt you big time. So I'd recommend before you sell your first card, take a few videos from other channels, from my channel, get a sense of what's going on, look into the history, see how selling has evolved over time. And even if you start with the trading card world and it doesn't fulfill you or there's not enough material, there are so many reselling channels on YouTube about this type of information, whether that's garage sale reselling channels or eBay resellers. There are so many people that take the fundamentals of what this business is, which is buying used goods and then reselling them. They're on YouTube. You can find them. And that's another way that I use to learn about all sorts of different platforms, even if it wasn't trading card game specific. So again, there's tons of YouTube channels out here. And on top of that, there are YouTube channels in other niches, whether that's reselling or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh. Tons of people do this. There's thousands and thousands of players on all these platforms, players by shops. So go ahead and check them out. That's a pretty important one. So that's gonna be number 10. Now, bonus tip for you. I know that this was only the top 10 tips, but here's number 11 coming at you live. Have some fun. One of the mistakes you can make, and I've made this mistake a few times when I get really overwhelmed, maybe I got 100 orders in a day and, there's that excitement of like, oh, I have 100 orders, but then there's that like realization of, oh, now I have to package 100 orders before I have work tomorrow morning or I have school at night or whatever the case may be. When you are doing this and you get the ball rolling and you might get overwhelmed because depending on the inventory you have, the volume of sales can just come in really quickly. Make sure that you are having fun with this business. This is a ton of fun. It's a huge hobby. There are tons of people out there doing this. Make sure that you are getting connected in communities and having fun while you're doing this, because if you're not having fun at the end of the day, then you're just making money and you'll quickly realize that just making money isn't that fun. Or is it? You guys have a great night.